2023 Kia Telluride X-Line Review. X marks the spot to keep up with the Joneses. Making like its close cousin over at Hyundai, the Kia Telluride has got a medium-strength revision for the 2023 model year. We recently drove the updated Palisade, but this time we put to the test the X-Line variant of the test of a 3-row crossover during a period when snow had accumulated in large quantities in our corner of the country. One-upping its non-identical Hyundai twin, the Kia Telluride has been racking up awards since its birth, mostly for its eye-catching design. This probably explains the more discreet changes made to the SUV's exterior this year compared to the Palisade. In fact, I've already announced my colors in the past. Of the two models, the Kia is the one I prefer. Simply a matter of taste. The silhouette, the body panels, the cut of the grille, the headlights and the parking lights, all these details remain unchanged. However, the grille between the two vertical headlights is new, as is the KIA badge in the center of the grille, actually there since last year. The bumpers are also redesigned, with those of this more rugged trim also getting a more industrial treatment under the glossy black grille. The designers took time as well to redesign the signature LED headlights. At the rear, though, the vehicle remains unchanged, as it has been since the model debuted in 2020. Also notable, the presence of very nice 20-inch wheels with a design well adapted to the X-Line vibe, as well as a ground clearance increased by 10 mm. It's not much, but it might help in the right situation. Keep in mind that Kia also offers the X Pro trim, which is differentiated by its 18-inch wheels and off-road tires. Inside. For those who deem the Sorento SUV a little snug, the Telluride is a better option, although on that front the Telluride doesn't challenge the Kia Carnival with its gargantuan interior space. This is most noticeable behind the third seat, where the headrests of the third seat graze the rear window, which also means that cargo space is minimal when all seats are occupied. Fortunately, when there are only 2 rows of seats up, the Telluride offers good cargo space that can even expand into the trunk floor. Passenger space overall is identical to that offered by the Palisade. Dashboard displays now being universally digital affairs makes it easier to make mid-course changes. The central touchscreen is even larger in 2023, 12.3-inch, up from 10.3. The graphics are clear and the applications are numerous. In fact, you get lost on occasion because there are so many options and functions to choose from. In this regard, I recommend having a co-pilot to handle the infotainment system. Where I have less trouble finding my way around is down in the lower console, which designers have resisted populating with touch-sensitive buttons. Thank you Kia, for relying on traditional buttons here and on the steering wheel for the climate control and for transmission shifting. Can we talk about this mass-market Kia offering Genesis-like comfort? Not quite. Engineers from all 3 Korean brands have saved the best for the luxury division. But then, the Telluride is nothing more or less than a minivan disguised as an SUV, when it comes to occupant comfort. And even though it comes with 20-inch wheels on all models except the X Pro, the crossover is still a good choice in that regard. On the road. Under the hood, the Telluride is a copy-paste of the Hyundai Palisade. Both models run on a naturally aspirated 3.8L V6 that delivers an acceptable 291 horsepower and an optimal 262 lb-ft of torque. Mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission, the V6 isn't a powerhouse, but its people mover status doesn't require it to make like a high-performance SUV. Electrification is conspicuous by its absence in the Telluride, but for that there's the upcoming Kia EV9, set to replace the Telluride completely in a few years. It will debut later this year as a 2024 model. More pleasant than fun in the drive it offers, the Kia Telluride can demonstrate a bit of a sporty character when the conditions are right. On an icy surface with some snow on top, the Telluride expresses itself best with the traction control system turned off and the sport mode engaged. Plus, you can even select the type of terrain, in this case, snow. Except that I didn't notice the difference before or after selecting the snow mode. Clearly, the Telluride is no rival to the Jeep Wrangler Rubicon and Ford Bronco Raptor, even in X-Line or X Pro trims. So while the chances of seeing a Telluride skidding around like one of those brutes are pretty slim for family rides, the Telluride does a pretty good job of taking care of its precious cargo. Passengers sit in comfortable first and second row seats, while the third bench seat is acceptable. The engine is loud when pushed, but once it reaches cruising speed, the vehicle turns smooth as a kitten. Like the Palisade tested earlier in 2022, the steering is light and uncommunicative and the suspension has been calibrated for comfort. Soundproofing in the wheel wells is clearly not as muffled as in luxury vehicles of the same size. And at the pump? Canadian Energuide reports an average fuel consumption of 12.8 L/100 km city, 9.8 L/100 km highway and 11.4 L/100 km average, all of which make the Palisade more attractive with its own ratings: 12.6 L/100 km city, 9.5 L/100 km highway and 11.2 L/100 km average. In all honesty, my 12.2 L/100 km average is not great compared to the 11.6 L/100 km I got earlier this winter with the Palisade, but the latter didn't have to deal with such intense cold weather, in addition to being driven mostly on pavement. What's more, I did more city driving with the Telluride X-Line. Really, the Kia is pretty close to its Hyundai cousin in this respect, especially since the mechanical components are identical, as are the dimensions of both vehicles. The final word. Kia, like Hyundai, is busy preparing for the electric era, which precluded the need to find an intermediate electrified solution on the way to the EV9. But it also leaves up in the air the long-term future, specifically when the Telluride's current life cycle ends. Will it be redesigned or abandoned altogether? For now, at least, Kia's largest vehicle is a good choice, provided you have a good budget for the vehicle and another for gas, because a vehicle of this size doesn't skimp on fuel use. It must consume to move forward. Mind you, the EV9 will also need energy to move forward, but its source will not be the same.
Thanks for watching. Drop a like, leave a comment, and don't forget to subscribe to watch more videos like this.